we actually are obligated to follow this concept of environmental justice, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So it's not only a off the cuff, idea that somebody had. We're actually obligated to follow this concept in all of our rulemaking and implementation of those rules and laws. So, desafortunadamente, toda mi presentación es en inglés. Por eso tenemos mi compañero Osvaldo y también Laura, que les puede dar en español. Okay. So as I said, these are some of the government codes in California. Well, on the left is the government code in California that kind of mandates that the fair treatment of all people, of all races and cultures and incomes, in regards to environmental law and policy. On the right side is the Department of Toxics definition of environmental justice. So that's kind of what the department has taken as a guide. So as a quick rundown, we met the first time on March the 17th. We had a bus tour where people showed us around in the valley, and they showed us some of the sites that they thought were a problem for environmental justice in the community, whether they're perceived or real. That wasn't an issue at that time. We just wanted to get to know the community better. We've only been here for 2 years. So we found 16 sites. On May the 29th and September the 25th of 2008, we gave updates on some of our work. And today we're looking for feedback from the community. We want to be able to share the results with the community and ask for some help in prioritizing. We feel that this project should be community driven because we work for the government and we work for you. Basically, you pay our salaries, right? So this work is really should be community based, and this is something that we want to work as close as we can possible with you. So these are some of the 16 sites, and the ones in the green are the ones that we've already looked at, and the ones in the yellow are the ones that we're looking at currently. The ones that are in the white are ones that we have not looked at yet. And we'll go over these a little bit more. I'm sorry? Yes?
You have the site Coke and what is it? Coke and coal in Mexico.
Yes.
And I brought up that issue. It's a summit because I remember that there's a huge no dumping sign out there, and then there's dumping, ironically, right there. I'm fine again today, and there's still dumping going on. So who is supposed to enforce the no dumping rule in that area?
Is it a fence? Are you talking about the corner, the one that's fenced?
No, I'm talking about one that has no fence.
Okay.
It's just, there's a huge sign in red letters that says no dumping.
Right.
And yet dumping goes on every single day. I went by again when I picked up my friend this afternoon, but before we got here, it's still going on. Who do I have to go see and raise some dust, if you will?
No, this is a good question because this happens a lot. As you know, if anybody lives here, you know that dumping happens everywhere. And whenever there's a vacant lot, so what happens when there's dumping like this, and we'll talk about this a little more later too, because we have that example, is usually the Department of Environmental Health will alert us if they think it's a hazardous waste. We're considered a hazardous material people, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's the
So-
answer we got last time, but if it's not considered hazardous, it will still remain there, right? Nobody's going to get up and dump it where it's supposed to go.
No, what happened, like for instance on coke and coal, a lot of it wasn't hazardous, and the county and us worked together to clean that up. But it's a matter of getting the right, department, right? So in this case, if it's not hazardous, we can go out there and test it. If it's not an issue for us, we can tell the county department of health this is an issue for you, maybe something like that. I think.
I think you may want to consider the fact that if the hazardous level is not to where it affects the community members that live around the area, because of the one-time testing, it's going to affect them eventually because they live there and they breathe that stuff every single day, even though the results may say that it's not hazardous enough.
Right.
But yet when you live there and you're breathing the stuff every day, who's going to tell me that I'm not going to develop something related to what you're saying it's not hazardous, it's not toxic enough?
Nobody can. Right.
Exactly. So what do we do then?
In this case, probably the most appropriate thing to do would be to work with the Department of Environmental Health, right? Just because it doesn't affect any of our regulations, you still can't dump trash anywhere you want to dump trash.
I understand that. I want to know who's going to remove the one that's already there.
Sure.
What I was going to suggest, a lot of it depends on who's, whether it's county property or city property, whether it's Calexico, Imperial, any of them.
It's city property.
It's city property, and the city is responsible to enforce the dumping. If that city has an ordinance, they can hold, and they should be anyway, most cities do have ordinances for trash dumping, and require the property operator to clean it up.
So if I go to the city council meeting on Tuesday and demand that the property owner clean it up, it's the city itself, and they better have some answers for me the following Tuesday, right?
I can't guarantee that.
But
What I would suggest, I understand.
Line everything in,
And I understand how the city council,
so I'm just going to go and with a pickup truck and clean it up myself and forget about going to the authority, because it never works.
and have you been to the city council?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure.
I walk in and they say, what's on now?
The thing is to get other people involved. But check the ordinances. You have the right to see those ordinances. You can go in and see what the responsibilities are. If the city has to go in and clean it up, or if you
On Cloak and Colt?
voice your concern, not just you, but other members of the community, they should hold that property operator responsible. That situation is going to continue until that property operator is made to clean that up enough times.
And that is pretty much what we had to do in this instance, where we actually did have some hazardous waste out there at one point. We did get the property owner to acknowledge and clean it up, but they also picked up a lot of the solid waste. Unfortunately, they're still allowing dumping out there, or dumping is occurring.
It's occurring, well, it's occurring.
One of the things you might have noticed, Maya is writing down some action items for us. So we're going to develop a list of action items that we can then prioritize, where we can work with the right agencies to get answers to the stakeholders. So in this case, maybe next Tuesday, right? Hopefully, the best case scenario. But those are things that we're going to start writing down and take notes on. So,
Disculpa, si dicen que a un particular sí se les cobra multa por tirar escombros en su lote, ¿por qué no logran ustedes dar una multa a la ciudad por no cumplir con los lineamientos?
If you were able to make a property owner clean up or get fined, then how come you can't have the city get fined for not cleaning up their property?
or the county. Roger, you want to?
Ustedes en la ciudad también.
That's a good question, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
The solid waste group?
that's in large measure what you would have to do is go and petition the Integrated Waste Management Board that
The state.
Yes, it's a state agency, that the local agencies are either unable or unwilling to enforce their ordinances or otherwise state law to do cleanup of illegally dumped solid waste. That's definitely a good possibility of being able to send that letter out. That's a good idea.
Roger, I think you remember Ted Rao.